Catherine Tornquist's body has never been found. Still, that didn't keep the jury from convicting her son. In his closing arguments earlier today, South Dakota Attorney General Marty Jackley told the jurors to follow the gun, the blood, and the money. The South Dakota Board of Paroles and Pardons denied parole today for 45-year-old Joaquin Jack Ramos. Ramos shot and killed his pregnant girlfriend, Debbie Martinez, at a home in Rapid Valley 20 years ago. A Fairburn man is challenging his pot possession charge in 7th Circuit Court on religious grounds. He says he is a Christian naturalist and says he believes smoking marijuana is a God-given right. Taylor, I had the windows open last night and woke up, had to grab another blanket in the middle of the night.
I believe it.
It backfired.
It did. Authorities say the call came in around 11:30 after an officer tried to pull over an ATV for a routine traffic stop. Black Hills Fox reporter Jaleesa Irizarry has more on the fatal and frightful night. A 7-year-old Rapid City boy who fell into Rapid Creek this afternoon is safe this evening, all thanks to the quick response of an off-duty Rapid City firefighter. The National Weather Service in Sioux Falls confirmed a tornado did touch down outside that city today. The Weather Service says the twister was spotted north of Canton around 4 this afternoon. Hey everyone, the Black Hills Brain Injury Conference got underway today and continues through tomorrow. Now, brain injuries occur in a variety of forms. Hey everyone, quite the crowd has gathered here at the Elks Theater in downtown Rapid City for the 5th annual Black Hills Film Festival. Men and women in blue, they play a big part in making sure roadways and activities are safe all throughout Rally Week here in Sturgis. And this year, law enforcement are honoring some of their fallen members. While some bikers often portray a rough and tough exterior, one group is looking to break down those stereotypes, all in the name of kids. The group is called Bikers Against Bullying. A Florida chapter of the international group is in Sturgis this week.
Now, Zach and I, we're trying to fit in here in Sturgis. We have our bandanas. I got my leather jacket. You know, I think we can pull it off.
Right, win in Rally Town, right? I mean, we were sticking out like sore thumbs earlier, so trying to blend in a little more, but you know, it's all in fun. Really a busy night here at Easy Riders, busy night in Sturgis all together. So everyone, we want to say have a safe but fun night tonight. That'll do it for us up here at Easy Rider Saloon. Zach Nugent, Tessa Thomas. Now for your latest Rally Week update for weather, we'll turn it over to Chief Meteorologist Taylor Nicolaisen. Taylor.
There is no doubt the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally brings a lot of good to the area, especially from a tourism and economic standpoint.
But when you have a sudden massive increase in population, there's the potential for unsavory and illegal behavior. One issue that's been making headlines throughout the state recently is the battle against human trafficking. And with the rally right around the corner, the battle has come to the Black Hills.
What we know is that sex sells. And we know that where there's a market for something, that people will exploit that market.
Certainly the rally brings a lot of positive things to the Black Hills, but with it comes some bad people.
You just bring a lot of disposable income into an economy over a short period of time, and there's opportunity to make money there.
We have over 100,000 children in the United States that are trafficked each year.
It's a global problem, and despite many misconceptions, it does happen here in South Dakota, human trafficking. The 2013 annual report coming out of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of South Dakota shows since 2009, the office has been involved in 23 sex trafficking cases. The U.S. Attorney has worked closely with South Dakota Attorney General Marty Jackley in prosecuting some of these cases, and with lawmakers in getting new laws passed and funding sources made available. With the help of South Dakota's Internet Crimes Unit, traffickers are often caught through online advertising.
We've run these sting operations across South Dakota. They've been run in Watertown, Sioux Falls, Rapid City during the Sturgis Rally. Now that the South Dakota legislature has given the ability for us to take assets and profits from this illegal activity, that will provide additional funding for more operations that will hopefully remove sexual predators off the streets before they harm young children.
At the national level, U.S. Representative Kristi Noem has made this fight a key issue. In May, the House passed one of the most comprehensive packages of bills in recent decades to allocate more resources for survivors. And just last week, representatives passed an additional bill written by Noem, called the Human Trafficking Prevention, Intervention, and Recovery Act. This bill opens existing grant programs to shelters looking to help trafficking survivors.
We certainly are doing all we can at the federal level to make sure we have the tools in place, but we are working with the state legislature to get our state laws in place that would give us some more tools to utilize.
Noem points out, while South Dakota has a number of domestic violence shelters and outreach centers, most are not trained to handle the challenges trafficking victims face.
We need to be on guard and be doing all we can to thwart their efforts, but it's an everyday battle. It's not something that we can forget about once the rally is passed.
That's where the organization Working Against Violence Incorporated comes into play. This month, the Rapid City-based group has played host to the co-founder and executive director of Free International, a Las Vegas-based group that focuses on putting a stop to trafficking and putting victims on a better path. Michael Bartel is teaching these workers how to recognize and approach possible victims. For the past several years, he's worked with cities hosting the Super Bowl, and with several 100,000 coming to western South Dakota next week, his focus is now here.
You just bring a lot of disposable income into an economy over a short period of time, and there's opportunity to make money there. You know, whether you're a business, or whether you're a pimp, or whether, you know, you're just looking to capitalize and save some money in other areas on the labor side of things. It's just, you know, sometimes looking to cut corners and make extra money comes on the backs of those who are being exploited.
And the best way to fight and prevent this?
Awareness is going to be the first thing, so that we can teach our kids how to be smart, we can teach our parents how to keep an eye on their kids.
Seeing the lack of resources in this area, Tess Franzen started the West River Human Trafficking Task Force. The group is less than a year old, but assisted in getting this billboard placed along Interstate 90. It's meant to act as a resource for victims and just get people talking about the issue.
It's like bullying, where bullying is getting so much attention. We need to raise the awareness so that it can be addressed and prevented.
Advocates like Franzen say a lot of times trafficking victims are forced into prostitution, shoplifting, and drug and alcohol addictions are fueled, so it's not unusual for these victims to face charges themselves. That's why there is much work on creating what are called safe harbor laws, which allow some degree of forgiveness for minor crimes committed by trafficking victims and allow them to more easily move forward with their lives. Now, if you ever see any suspicious behavior that you believe may be related to trafficking, contact your local police or the National Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888.
This is the livelihood for thousands throughout South Dakota, but the ranching industry in the western half of the state has been decimated by an early October blizzard.
We won't know for, I would imagine a couple weeks when everybody gets their cattle gathered, but initially we're probably 60-70% loss.
Dead cattle line roadways and speckle fields. Richard Rausch has ranched his entire life and says this is truly a first.
I don't know if you can recover from something like that. You know, time will tell.
Rausch says during times of adverse weather, many of his cattle survive in deep draws out of the wind and the elements. He says for some reason, the animals left the draws during this latest storm, and it was simply too much. Too much rain, too much snow, too much wind. Most of the animals freezing or suffocating.
We had 6 head of horses in a corral next to a shed, and we lost 4 of those horses right in the corral with all the protection in the world. I'm 63 and had horses all my life. I've never lost a horse.
And the inactivity in Washington isn't helping the situation.
It's, of course, complicated by the fact that we don't have a farm bill. And I think as important as anything else right now is getting the farm bill passed. The disaster title in the farm bill provides assistance, livestock indemnity programs in the event of natural disasters, and that assistance is retroactive under the farm bill. But we're still awaiting a conference, and we're waiting for the Speaker of the House to appoint conferees.
So ranchers like Rausch are left in limbo. They're waiting for snow to melt, for land to dry, and for lawmakers to pass a farm bill.
That whole deal in Washington is wrong. It doesn't matter whether you're in agriculture or a businessman on Main Street. It's wrong the way they're treating the people here in the United States.
At one time, river otters roamed freely along the waterways of South Dakota.
But a history of trapping and habitat loss has led to the species being deemed threatened. The Department of Game, Fish and Parks is now in the midst of a 5-year project looking at how to best manage and possibly reintroduce otters to parts of the Mount Rushmore state. Take a look.
The river otter is a difficult species to survey. It's rather elusive, and to be honest, we didn't have a lot of recent information.
Which is one of the reasons the state GFMP has put otters on its radar. Each year, the department's biology staff gathers to discuss a variety of issues, and in 2012, the topic of river otters came up.
And the need for a management plan and to collect more information on the species. So myself and my supervisor were tasked with developing this management plan.
The management plan is basically a 5-year study. Part of it involves what's called the Little White River Project.
So we decided that let's let the otters tell us what is suitable. So we then released them last late October.
2 otters, a male and a female, that were incidentally captured in Brookings and Moody counties, were implanted with tracking devices with the help of staff at Sioux Falls Great Plains Zoo. They were released in the White River near Martin. Their movement has been tracked ever since.
If they're not moving and you pick up a signal, you use it steady. But if they move, you've got ways in which it gets stronger and weaker, so you get an irregular signal, and that's usually a good indication she's moving.
The female, which now has pups, has stayed in the area, roaming land in and around the La Creek National Wildlife Refuge. The male, he hasn't been seen since the pups came along.
There's been previous releases in Nebraska where an animal's gone 700 miles and was located 700 miles away, so there's a good chance that male just decided to leave these parts.
Melquist says the pups should become more active in August, so it'll be interesting to see if the female stays or not after that. Biologists with the GFMP say they will continue the Little White River Project through the year, possibly into 2015, and then decide where to go from there in terms of possibly reintroducing more otters to parts of South Dakota.